My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen with your spirit, not just your ears. This is not a random message. This is not something you clicked by accident. Heaven has marked this moment, and today had been circled in the unseen realm. The sound you're hearing now is the last message from heaven. It's full of love, urgency, and a warning. Right now, Jesus is calling your name. And the Archangel Michael is standing next to this message and speaking authoritatively. My child, your time has finally come, but time is running out. Heaven rarely speaks so clearly in a lifetime. That's one of them. You are being watched, cared for, and led a lot more than you think. It would have been easy for you to break down, lose everything, or walk into destruction. But you didn't. It wasn't luck. That was not a mistake. There was divine intervention there. Archangel Michael has been put in charge of your case. He has fought battles you never saw and blocked doors that looked good, but would have hurt you. But now, the mood in heaven has changed. We are no longer in a waiting season. This is the time of year to respond. Jesus' voice is not whispering. When heaven calls your name directly, it means you need to make a decision. He is calling your name. It's no longer possible to be neutral. It's no longer safe to wait. Archangel Michael's message is clear and important. Your angels will leave you if you don't pay attention to this. Take some time to think about that. This does not mean that God no longer loves you. That is, protection changes when assignment is not taken into account. When a divine command is repeatedly put off, heaven does not force obedience. Angels are sent on purpose to provide guidance and timing. People have free will, even if it hurts. That's why this message is heavy, emotional, and important all at the same time. The next stage of your life is at a crossroads. Recently, your heart has been nudged all the time. You felt restless for no reason, had trouble sleeping, had old memories come back to you, and had a sense that something is about to happen, but were afraid to take action. That's not worry. There is spiritual pressure there. Due to the pressure of time, heaven is under pressure. Today is more than a date. It is a window. A window through which what has been put off will either be turned on or turned off. There is no doubt that you have prayed for clarity, confirmation, and a sign. This is the sign. You heard your name called out in the courts of heaven because you are hearing this message right now. Jesus has seen your tears, heard the prayers you said in your head when no one else was around, and understood the questions you were too shy to ask out loud. Archangel Michael tells you that you have been trained by going through hard times. Everything you went through was worth it. You were getting ready for the next thing by going through the betrayals, setbacks, and times when you felt like no one saw you. But this is the truth that many people don't hear. Destiny needs people to take part. Miracles need movement. A lot of people miss this. Angels move when you move. You've been putting things off until you feel safe. But heaven wants you to act now, before everything makes sense. This makes me feel bad because of this. This is why your comfort zone feels like it's squeezing you. You know deep down that you were never meant to stay where you are. Right now, Jesus is calling your name, not to scare you, but to wake you up. When time is short, love can sound like a need to act quickly. Archangel Michael does not pose a threat. He's telling you not to do it because he can see things you can't. He can see both ways. Alignment, speed, and protection are all influenced by one. The other creates delays, confusion, and silence from the people you used to rely on for help. And pay attention to this. This message won't go away just because you ignore it. The next season will be harder because of it. This might make you wonder, why me? Why now? Even though you don't feel ready, you are ready. In Amen. He qualifies those who are called, not the other way around. You are not expected to be perfect. It entails obedience, a step, a decision, and the giving up of what you have been holding on to in fear. Something specific that you have been putting off is a talk, a move, a promise, or a release. It's already clear to you. Confirmation can be found in the tight feeling in your chest. This is the very thing that will lead to your breakthrough, says Archangel Michael. Just take a moment to agree with this if it feels right in your spirit right now. In the comments, type Amen to show that you are choosing alignment over delay, obedience over fear, and not avoiding it. Not doing it has pushed back your moment. Facing it will unlock it. Today is a big day. Either you step into alignment or you step into struggling for no reason. Only one way leads to divine acceleration, though heaven will still love you regardless. Angelic assistance is only active in your life in one direction. This is not just another video. This is not a coincidence. So don't brush it off. You got this message because your name was called out. Jesus is calling you not to be punished but to have a reason for living with his sword drawn. Archangel Michael is ready to fight but not you. He is ready to fight what has been stopping you. It's important that you think about this for a few minutes more than you think. Pay close attention. Your spirit already knows what to do. This is just the start of what heaven wants you to know today. Choose one. Take a deep breath and let this sink in more deeply. What you thought at the end of the last message wasn't made up. Yes, it was recognition. Heaven doesn't say the same thing over and over. And this message keeps going because something important is happening right now. Archangel Michael is still here watching and at the edges of this moment to protect you. What happens next depends on how you react with knowledge, not fear. A lot of people have the wrong idea about something. They think that warnings from heaven are meant to scare people. But real divine warnings are invitations. In these times, God shows mercy by saying, I care enough about you to tell you before it changes. The name of Jesus calling you is not a threat. It has to do with proximity. If your name is called out in heaven, it means that you are being pulled closer, not farther away. There is spiritual noise trying to distract you right now. Things like being busy, doubt, overthinking, and even small irritations have been getting worse lately. That's not a coincidence. When heaven is getting ready to move you forward, you often face more resistance at first. The resistance you feel is not because you are weak, says Archangel Michael. It's because what's ahead of you is heavy. Beyond yourself, your next move has influence. You don't realize how much your obedience affects other people. Some people are waiting for your yes, but you don't know it. If this word speaks to you, share it with someone who may be at a crossroads. When you share, you're not just sending a video. You're inspiring someone to make a breakthrough in their life. Someone else's relief has been held up because of your delay. This is the reason why today is so intense. It's not just a private moment. There is a chain reaction going on here. When you align, other people gain. People stay stuck when you hesitate. Jesus is calling your name because he wants your attention, not because you are perfect. If you know this to be true, show that you agree. In the comments, type Amen to show that you are no longer pondering and have made up your mind. In your mind, you keep going over mistakes you made in the past and telling yourself you missed your chance. Pay attention to this. You didn't miss it. You were being kept safe. You would have been crushed if you had taken on this assignment earlier. But now you have the strength, discernment, and spiritual maturity to handle it. Even though Archangel Michael tells you that you are safe, protection doesn't last forever. With obedience, it moves. Covering increases as you walk where you are told to. Covering is constrained when you stay where you are at ease. Because of this, the last season felt rushed, annoying, and tired. You were getting bigger than the place you were standing. Take note of how some doors no longer interest you. A lot of the time, conversations feel empty. Some habits make you feel heavy. That's not being bored. That shows that there is misalignment. Heaven is repositioning you gently but firmly. Repositioning always feels like loss before it feels like gain to begin with. You need to understand something very important right now. Angels don't leave for no reason. When a lesson needs to be learned by doing, they step aside. The message from Archangel Michael is not about being afraid. It has to do with love and urgency. Heaven doesn't want you to have to learn the hard way what obedience could get you. You are not alone. This message also tells you that this is resonating with you because your spirit knows it to be true. I also want you to take a moment to recognize if this is deeply moving you. Use this message as a guide to show that you agree. Click like on this message. Tell someone who may also be at a crossroads about it. Tell us about your awareness. Your involvement is more than just talking to people. It's alignment. And if this space keeps confirming what God is telling you, make sure you stay in touch by subscribing and giving this channel your support. This is how messages like this keep getting to the people who need them the most. Archangel Michael tells you that you will need courage, not confidence, for the next part of your life. After that comes confidence. First have courage. You don't need to see everything. Just do the next right thing. Movement, not perfection, is what makes heaven happy. Jesus calling your name is also a call to a close relationship, not a religious or routine one. There has been space lately, not because God moved, but because there are more things to do. This is your call to come back to stillness, to listen again, and to get your heart back in sync. 5 honest minutes can change the whole day. Watch out for the next few hours and days. A soft thought, a confirmation through words you didn't expect, and a peace that settles when you finally make up your mind are all signs. These are not just random events. These things are confirmations. As soon as you choose alignment, momentum will take the place of hesitation, says Archangel Michael. Pay close attention. The next part is very important. You don't want to miss what comes next. What heaven shows you next will make sense of everything you've been feeling but couldn't put your finger on. Stay with this message because the truth that is coming out will give you the clarity you've been looking for but didn't know how to ask for. Please lean in with your heart, my dear, because what is being told now is holy. This is where a lot of people feel the weight of heaven the most. Not because they are in danger, but because the truth is against their soul. In this very moment, Archangel Michael is communicating with you and telling you that what you are feeling is the release of responsibility, not burden. Clears throat, being responsible, there's a difference. Burden wears you down. Being responsible wakes you up. At this point, making excuses won't help you anymore. What seemed like a reasonable delay before now feels like stress inside. This is not a ruling of guilt. Here we are awakening. Jesus is calling your name right now to commission your future, not to make up for your past. Heaven isn't going over all of your mistakes. Your readiness is being tested. Your divine trust is being shown to you. Not many people get this. When God gives someone time-sensitive instructions, it is because they have already shown faith in unseen ways. It would have been easier for you to leave, but you stayed. You stood the silence without getting angry. You didn't give up when results were slow to come in. These moments were caught on film. Your perseverance is the reason for this alert, according to Archangel Michael. But this is the truth that needs to be told clearly but gently. There are short-term spiritual seasons. Chances that come from heaven have expiration dates. This is not because God is impatient, but because purpose moves in a rhythmic way. Dissonance results from missed rhythm. That's why heaven is calling out right now before the dissonance turns into distance. You may have recently had a strange feeling like you are standing between two versions of yourself. One feels safe and familiar and the other feels unknown but alive. This stress is not confusion. This is a transition. Jesus is in the middle of that area and is calling you to come forward. Archangel Michael is behind you, making sure that nothing bad follows you. Right now is also the time when fear tries to look like wisdom. Thoughts like wait a little longer, get more prepared, or what if I fail sound reasonable. But they come from self-protection, not obedience. You don't have to be fearless to enter heaven. You have to be willing to do it. Make sure you understand this. No harm is meant when angels step aside. It has an effect. When a goal is being pursued, protection flows most easily. The warning is given because protection is still in place, says Archangel Michael. It would be much worse to be quiet. You are hearing this right now, which means that heaven is still calling you. Today is about alignment, not loss. That's when the line between drifting and making up your mind is drawn. You're not being hurried. You are being told again. Jesus calling your name is heaven's way of telling you not to be afraid right now. That decision or act of surrender you need to make will bring you closer than you think. Your obedience also brings healing. That pain you thought wasn't connected will all of a sudden make sense. The stress you are under will be turned into authority. Someone else's breakthrough will grow from the tears you cry alone. This is how God works. Nothing goes to waste and everything is saved. Archangel Michael says there is a mantle ready. But mantles are not put on people who are hesitant. It's on hearts that have given in. Notifying your obedience is not necessary. All you have to do is walk away. Before this message ends, heaven will make the announcement. Take this moment as a holy checkpoint. Make your point clear right now during this holy pause. Type 1, choose alignment in the comments. As you write it, picture yourself moving from doubt to divine order. Don't skip this step. Allow it to mark you. Be anchored by it. This is more than just information. It is passing on. In the comments, type I get the call. Good news. Blessing code 945 was just released. If this speaks to you, listen to this now with authority and clarity. The reason this message moved you is that God is using this channel as a river, not a lake. What flows through here is meant to reach people who need direction, hope, and the truth very badly. I'm talking to you right now. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Now, beloved soul, things are getting quieter but deeper. If heaven stops shouting, this is where it starts to search the heart. Archangel Michael takes a small step back. Not because it's less important, but because you need to find more discernment. Right now, truth can speak without resistance as the noise fades. This is the sacred pause that comes before telling someone what to do. A lot of people get this stage wrong. They believe that silence means giving up. A lot of the time, silence is confirmation. As soon as heaven has spoken, it waits to see what the heart will decide once its feelings are calm. No, Jesus calling your name wasn't meant to scare you, but to wake you up. Prior to alignment is awareness. You might notice that a strange calm tries to come in after the rough patch. A part of you wants to go back to your normal life with all of its distractions and comforts. That's the test. True peace is characterized by clarity, not avoidance and familiarity. Frequently passes for peace. Archangel Michael tells us that now is the time when old habits will try to pull you back, not with force, but with comfort. You're being told to pick intention over instinct. Something very personal is being talked about here. Everyone who hears this is called to be honest, but not everyone is called to do the same thing. You already know where you've already given half of your time. It's already clear where you've been putting things off in the name of patience. Heaven isn't mad about it, but it also won't throw it out either. For Jesus calling your name is a call to maturity. Not the kind of maturity that looks strong on the outside, but the kind that is deep down. This is where faith stops being an emotion and starts being a choice. This is where prayer turns into a posture and belief turns into obedience. This is also the time when spiritual identity is refined, says Archangel Michael. You can't think of yourself as small, unprepared, or not good enough anymore. A part of you can't handle what's coming next. The calling ahead needs authority, and alignment, not effort, gives authority. You might feel exposed in ways you didn't expect. With old insecurities coming back to the surface and questions about your worth coming up again, this is not going backwards. There is purification here. Things that can't go with you are being brought to the surface so they can be released. Heaven is kind, but it gets things done. Don't be shocked if relationships start to change in small ways. Some connections might feel far away. Some people may feel stressed. No, this is not a punishment. This is called recalibration. Your outer world has to change when your inner alignment does. Archangel Michael makes sure that nothing important is lost. But not all things that are familiar are meant to stay. Discernment also improves during this time. Soon you'll be able to see intentions more clearly, even your own. You will start to understand things that used to stump you. What used to tempt you will no longer do so. This clarity is a gift, but to keep it, you have to be honest. The name of Jesus calling you is also a call to make things easier. You've been feeling tired because there are too many choices, voices, and internal negotiations. One step, one decision at a time, heaven is bringing you back to the center of yourself. Today's obedience is worth more than all the plans you make for tomorrow. There is protection in simplicity. According to Archangel Michael, interference can't access your focus when it's clear. Not because you are weak, but because your focus is strong. This is why distractions have been so strong lately. You're not behind. You are being put in place. Write down what brings you peace right now. Not adrenaline or excitement, but peace. Peace is the way to go. If something makes you feel whole on the inside, even if it scares other people, that's a sign. A lot of the time, fear comes with growth, but peace confirms direction. Rest, not escape, but restoration is also offered here. Heaven doesn't push you forward until you're tired. Before it sends you, it makes you stronger. You're tired because you've been carrying weight that wasn't meant to be on your shoulders. Put it down. You don't need to earn what's already yours. Consent is a key component of this journey. Heaven has talked. People have been warned. The invite is still valid. It's not a question of whether God is faithful anymore. It's a question of whether you are willing. Archangel Michael stays close, sword lowered, watchful, and ready. Jesus is still calling your name, but it's getting clearer. Pressure won't be the cause of the next movement. Resolve will. Take a moment to relax. Let it change you. The depth you are building now will be needed for what comes next. Now, beloved, we're going to a place of revelation that many people never get to. It's not hidden, but it takes honesty without defense. Heaven starts to show you not only where you're going, but also why you had to take this path. Archangel Michael warns us that clarity is on the way, but only if we let the truth settle without resistance. Instead of wrestling with God, you've been wrestling with yourself. It's a fight between who you were and who you are becoming. When there is stillness and your thoughts become more pronounced, you have felt it. This tension inside is not a sign of weakness. It really is transformation. Jesus calling your name doesn't make you feel bad about what you did. It makes you take responsibility for what you did. A lot of people ask God to use them. But not many are ready for the process of being refined that comes after. You have gone through refinement without being aware of it. Loss taught you discernment. It took time to teach you patience. You learned boundaries from disappointment. You didn't just make it through these seasons. They changed you. You now have wisdom that can't be taught, only lived, says Archangel Michael. That's why heaven trusts you with important instructions that depend on timing. For what's coming next, you'll have to stand without constantly needing reassurance. There won't be signs at every turn this season. It's about having faith. Emotional confirmation won't always come your way, but you will always have spiritual certainty. This kind of faith moves people even when they don't feel anything. You may find that some prayers are answered differently than you thought they would be. This is not because God is holding back, but because He is changing the way you see things. You could not have done what you asked for in the past. The things that are coming will test you, but they will also keep you going. Jesus calling your name now is a reminder that He sees more than just the part you are holding. Archangel Michael tells you that one of the most important lessons you've learned is restraint. Knowing when not to speak, react, or chase something that seems good but isn't real. This restraint was for practice. Because of the next season, there will need to be authority. An authority without restraint leads to destruction. You are being taught how to lead without losing who you are. A release of old guilt, self-blame, and what-if questions is also happening here. These things can't go with you. Heaven doesn't want to talk about your past. Your alignment is the main focus. God doesn't come back after forgiving. It's not from heaven if something keeps coming up. The message is for you to finally let go. You don't need to be perfect. You're being asked to be there. Today keeps going off because it's a decision point, not a scary deadline. This is the point at which intention turns into action and awareness turns into agreement. You don't need to tell everyone about this. The decision is made in the heart first. Heaven sees it when no one else does. This is an important thing that Archangel Michael says. When you choose alignment, resistance doesn't go away right away, but it loses its power. Only when he feels his influence is waning does the enemy argue loudly. Do not think that resistance means you failed. Many times it's confirmation that you're moving in the right way. You might also want to make your life easier, make more room, and say no more often. This is the rising wisdom. What you're going into needs room to grow. Calling gets suffocated by too much going on. You can make space without feeling guilty in heaven. Jesus calling your name also gives you back confidence, but not the loud kind. It's the quiet kind that doesn't need to be affirmed and moves steadily even when no one is looking. This confidence will help you get through times when no one is cheering, but the impact is clear. Do not hurry what is going on inside you. Roots grow in the dark before fruit shows up in the light. What is taking shape inside you will soon be seen, but it needs to be stable first. Archangel Michael keeps a close eye on this process to make sure nothing gets in the way too soon. When you learn to trust God without conditions like if this happens then I will obey. You start to say because you spoke I will move. This changes everything. Heaven responds quickly to hearts that give up their fight. Let this truth anchor you as this section concludes. You're not behind schedule. We haven't forgotten about you. Not only that, but you are qualified. You are getting lined up. The call ahead is real. The timing is the intention. You are getting stronger. Which means that heaven has not only called your name, but also made you ready for what's to come. Dear child, this is where movement starts to take the place of thought. Up until now, heaven had been molding your comprehension, easing resistance, and bolstering resolve. Now, however, Archangel Michael speaks with a tone of readiness, not a panicked sense of urgency, but a tone of readiness that gets things ready. This is the threshold at which inner agreement begins to show up as external actions. There is a small change going on inside you. You might not be able to fully explain it, but something seems set in stone. Even if the details are still not clear, this is important. Heaven doesn't wait for things to be certain. It waits for a heart that is sure. Your name has already been called by Jesus. You're no longer not sure if this message is for you. You are now deciding what to say. Not because they doubt God, but because they are afraid of responsibility. People frequently hesitate at this point. Taking care of things changes how you live. It changes what you allow, who you listen to, and how you spend your time. It costs comfort to be aligned, but it pays off in peace. What you are about to do will require discipline, but it will also release joy that you haven't felt in a long time. According to Archangel Michael, you can start to clearly see what needs to be changed. Not everything at once, but enough to move on to the next step. It could be a line that needs to be drawn and followed. Perhaps you need to release a bad habit. Perhaps the talk needs to happen at some point. Heaven doesn't usually ask for everything all at once in order. It asks for obedience. Do not forget how important small acts of obedience are. A decision made with faith can change the course of a whole future. God operates in this manner, subtly, precisely, and with intention. Jesus calling your name isn't about making big moves. It's about taking faithful steps over and over again. This is also where spiritual authority starts to grow, says Archangel Michael. Titles and praise do not give you authority. When no one is looking, obedience is demonstrated. Due to your ability to exercise restraint, people trust you with influence. You learned how to listen, which makes you ready to lead. It's important to stay in touch at this point. Messages like this aren't meant to be read and then forgotten. They are meant to be gone back to, thought about, and lived out. As a sign of alignment, if you feel like heaven is always talking to you through this space, subscribe now. Not only does your subscription help, but it also puts you in a prophetic position that keeps you in touch with what God is releasing this season. If this word confirms what God has already been stirring in you, let that agreement be seen as a sign of alignment. I like this message. Someone who may be in need of clarity right now should receive it. Not to get attention, but to hold yourself accountable. Say what struck a chord. Make sure you subscribe and are a part of this expanding community if you want to keep receiving messages that are rich in meaning and discernment. People who are listening for God's voice will continue to get what you support. There is also a focus that is getting better right now. Things that used to be attractive are becoming less appealing. You might be drawn to solitude, thought or action with intention. This is not being alone. That's what preparation is. Not even Jesus went out in front of big movements. When you have a goal, being still is not the same as being stuck. Archangel Michael wants you to know that you are not going through this next phase by yourself. Before we go any further, let what heaven is stirring in you come to life. Type 1 "I'm ready to move" in the comments. Think about it and write it with intention, not emotion, like a witness in the spirit world. It is still possible to get help. Guidance is still there. But as you move, the way becomes clearer. A lot of people want to see the whole picture before they take their first step. Heaven provides light for the next step and then reveals more as you go. Moving around builds trust. You may also feel tested in subtle ways with chances to make concessions or go back to old habits. All of these are not setbacks. These things are confirmations. What used to tempt you now shows how much you've grown. You have grown too big for something when it no longer fits. Jesus calling your name also denotes restoration of assurance, not pride. You're starting to trust that God really does know what He's doing with your life. This trust makes things less stressful and more stable. When results aren't clear right away, it anchors you. At this point, be kind to yourself. Sometimes growth doesn't feel very big. Choosing the truth over comfort and obedience over ease of use can feel like consistency at times. You are being changed more by these choices than you know. As you keep listening, something important will come up that will show you how your calling is related to what you are going through now in a way you have never seen before. Keep this moment in mind. What comes next will give people the clarity they've been waiting years for. Better understanding is now possible. The kind that doesn't come from working hard, but from giving up. At this point, heaven starts to bind together the loose ends of your life. Things that seemed random, unfair, or pointless at first are slowly falling into place with a purpose. In this message, Archangel Michael speaks with quiet authority and tells you that you no longer need to chase clarity. Something is going to meet you. It's becoming clear to you that your life has never been off track. There was a narrow road where accuracy was more important than speed. Sometimes seeing how much faster, further, or better known others seemed made you question your own path. But heaven never put you in a race with other people. It was getting you ready for your assignment. The fact that Jesus is calling your name right now is confirmation that the time for preparation is coming to an end. There is a sacred alignment going on between what you believe inside and what you choose to do outside. This is important. A lot of people talk about faith but don't live it. Right now is different because your actions are beginning to match what you believe. People are learning to have integrity, which is spiritual power. Protection naturally strengthens when there is integrity. According to Archangel Michael, you might notice that you don't react as much as you used to. Things that used to make me angry or upset don't bother me as much these days. Being numb is not this. Yes, this is maturity. Your center has moved inward. So you are no longer controlled by outside events. The establishment of stability is what enables God to entrust more responsibility. A new discernment of time is also present. You are learning what makes you weak and what makes you strong. This awareness isn't a fluke. Heaven is teaching you stewardship of your energy, focus, and attention in addition to your resources. What you do with your time will either speed up or slow down your calling. This is why some distractions are becoming less appealing. In this phase, Jesus calling your name is an invitation to partnership, not a one-sided relationship where you wait passively, but rather a walk where you listen, respond, and adjust. You are not being kept from God's will. He is slowly telling her because intimacy grows through talking to each other, not being in charge. Archangel Michael tells you that a mantle of influence is coming your way. Power doesn't always look like a stage. In some situations, it looks like having the right amount of wisdom, courage, or peace in a chaotic setting. Alignment, not visibility, is the source of power. You might feel more responsibility for your decisions right now. This is good for you. For you, it means you are no longer blaming events or people for where you are. The word excuse has been replaced by ownership, and places where people own things grow faster. There is also a gentle warning at this stage. Don't make the past seem better. What God has planned for you is bigger than what you left behind. It's not safe to be safe in the past. Even if it feels safe, it's safe to be aligned. Your future, not your past, is what Archangel Michael guards. This healing is also happening in the way you see God. You are starting to see that His direction is not harsh, unpredictable, or far away. Intention, patience, and intense personality are all necessary. Jesus calling your name doesn't mean that your life is stopping. That's why you were made in the first place. You might still have doubts from time to time. That makes sense. Faith isn't just not having any doubts. Moving forward despite it is the decision. Heaven doesn't pull away when people ask questions. When the heart stops beating, it pulls away. But your heart is open. That's why this message keeps getting stronger. Now pay attention to what brings you clarity, not excitement or approval from other people, but what brings you inner alignment. You will know what to do when something feels right at its core, even if it makes you stretch. Peace doesn't always mean it's easy. There are times when peace means being sure when things are hard. Archangel Michael says that consistency will be more important than intensity. This season, small acts of faithfulness done over time will have bigger effects than big actions done just once. Don't look down on the ordinary. Heaven often hides amazing things in ordinary obedience. Let this truth anchor you as this part comes to an end. You're not changing into someone else. You're getting closer to being the person you were always meant to be. What's coming up won't require you to act, pretend, or prove anything. You will need to be aligned for it to work. Now, something even more specific is about to be shown. Something that will directly link your obedience to real change. Pay close attention. Still speaking from heaven. My beloved, this is where confirmation from heaven comes into the real world. You felt a lot of things inside up until now. Thoughts coming together, convictions growing, and clarity growing. Archangel Michael tells you that alignment is now manifesting itself in the physical world through changes. At this point, obedience starts to show itself, even if it's only slightly noticeable at first. Don't miss the little changes, like a conversation that starts up on its own or a door that no longer feels stuck. Pay attention to the peace that fills the space where anxiety used to be in this world. These are signs that spiritual alignment is leading to movement. It was never meant for Jesus calling your name to leave you guessing. Getting you to agree with what heaven is already doing for you was the point. At the same time, your discernment is getting stronger. Mixed signals don't bother you as much. What was confusing before now seems clear. This clarity is protection, says Archangel Michael. Lying is less effective when you can see clearly. When your spirit is in the right place, manipulation can't take hold. Though you may still be waiting for something big to happen, heaven usually works by making things better over time rather than by putting on shows. Growth that lasts doesn't usually make a lot of noise. Gradually, layer by layer, it gets stronger until you find yourself in a place you prayed for. Because of this, your patience is being developed. To be patient is not to wait. Without panic, it is preparation. In areas you quietly accepted as broken, Jesus calling your name has also brought restoration. Because you were let down in the past, some of you stopped praying for certain things. Heaven heard those quiet pulls away. Now God is slowly giving you hope again where you had lost it. This isn't a joke. It's meant to heal you. Archangel Michael tells us that this is also a time when we can see spiritually. What you choose now is being seen by people who can't see. Alignment, not just words, is what angels respond to. Reinforcement grows all around you every time you choose truth over comfort, integrity over ease, and obedience over fear. You're not the only one going through this. Help is still going because your heart has responded. Remember not to rush the outcome. Rushing is often a sign of being unsafe. A sign of maturity is trust. The more you trust God, the more you trust His timing. This trust is making you feel more stable. This is why uncertainty doesn't bother you as much anymore. Your peace stays even when answers aren't complete. This is also a call to stay grounded. Pride tries to sneak in quietly once momentum starts to build. Be willing to learn. Be humble. Don't depend on progress. Instead, depend on God. Archangel Michael says that humility keeps what talent brings. God is building something through you, and it needs to be based on character, not excitement. Jesus calling your name is also a call to consistency. Not short bursts of emotion followed by long pauses, but to a life of steady devotion. This rhythm will keep you from getting tired and let down. Heaven isn't asking for a lot of work with no breaks. He wants you to be faithful while also being fair. Some of you will find resistance in places you didn't expect it. Some people will not understand your shifts. Your boundaries won't be accepted by all. This is fine. Alignment often shakes up the comfort zones of those around you. Do not mistake misunderstanding for error. Stay anchored. The people who are meant to walk with you will change. The next season will need clarity and communication, says Archangel Michael. Tell the truth without getting angry, without feeling bad. Set boundaries. You don't need permission to move forward. Authority that is shown through peace is much stronger than authority that is shown through force. As this message reaches its peak, make sure you fully understand this. The way things are going is not fragile. It has roots. It won't fall apart because it's based on obedience, not impulse. You're not stepping into a short-term space. You are moving into alignment that will keep getting better as you go. You can write, "I stand in alignment" in the comments if this message backs up what God is doing in you. Just recently, Blessing Code 3819 was released. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. This is what I say over you now. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. "Give and it will be given to you" is not just a verse for Jesus. It is a living promise that shapes your future. Allow me to invite you now with a simple act of faith. Come into this moment with purpose, with honesty, and with hope. The money you give today is not a donation. The act of spiritual obedience that lets your heavens open is what opens them. Let go of your seed and see what God brings back into your life. Do something now. Let go of what God is telling you to and see how heaven responds. Dear child, what's happening now is the quiet strength that comes after alignment. A lot of people get this stage wrong because it doesn't come with fireworks or big announcements. Instead, it comes with stability, calm resolve, and a sense of knowing that doesn't require constant reassurance. Because this phase is about establishment rather than warning or urgency, Archangel Michael speaks softly here. There are changes happening in your spirit, not in your body. You aren't as scared of things as you used to be when they happened. You still feel emotions, but they don't tell you what to do. This is proof of growth. Your faith is no longer reactive as a result of Jesus calling your name. It has roots. The way you think is taking on a new authority. No longer do you need permission from everyone to move forward. Discernment has grown stronger. And so has confidence. Not loud confidence or performative strength, but quiet assurance, the kind that doesn't rush to explain or defend itself needlessly. Archangel Michael confirms that obedience, not ambition, is what gives someone power. You might have noticed that the way you pray has changed. Now that you agree, you're not pleading as much. Your prayer is not for God to fix everything, but for Him to show you the way. This change is important. The agreement calls for a partnership. Heaven has more clarity when it sees a willing heart. Your daily life is also becoming more peaceful. This isn't because everything is fine, but because the foundation of your life has changed. Peace is no longer tied to results. Trust serves as its anchor. One of the best ways to show spiritual maturity is to do this. You won't fall down when the storms come, which they will. You will stay steady. This season is about reinforcement, says Archangel Michael. Now that things are in line, they need to be made stronger. Habits are becoming stronger. Limits are being put to the test. There is more and more consistency. These aren't little things. They are the buildings that will hold the next thing. Don't be shocked if things seem slower on the outside. For internal stability, heaven often slows down movement that can be seen. Cracks appear when you rush. Patience makes things last longer. You are not being made to look good, but to last. Jesus calling your name was never just for a moment. There was talk of a lifetime of alignment. Also, you might feel like you have more responsibility for what you say. You're becoming more aware of how important what you say is. Gripes drain you faster now. It's heavier to be negative. Not because you are limited, but because your spirit is more open. What used to go smoothly is now shaking your peace. Protection comes from this sensitivity. This is also a time of discernment in terms of access. According to Archangel Michael, not everyone needs to know how you do things. Not everyone deserves to see how vulnerable you are. Wisdom is learning when to speak and when to remain quiet. Being quiet does not mean you are weak. Sometimes it's a plan. There may be times when you feel like no one gets you. That's a part of this stage. Language changes as you get older. You change your priorities. People who aren't growing with you might not see you the same way. There is no rejection here. It's called divergence. Don't move around. Be nice. Be clear, but don't be shy about it. You can still hear Jesus calling your name, but it sounds more like reassurance than a need to act right away. That voice tells you you're on the right track. Even when doubts pop up and you feel like you're not making any progress, this voice stays the same. Develop the ability to trust it more than your feelings. This is a time to intentionally guard your peace, says Archangel Michael. Peace does not do nothing. It is kept safe. Pay attention to what you let into your mind. Choose what you eat and drink carefully. The training your spirit is getting is for discernment, not overload. You're also feeling grateful for how far you've come. This isn't forced gratitude. It's real gratitude. You might think about the people you were in the past and see how much you've changed. Humility is cultivated by this awareness. You know that you didn't get here by yourself. Do not forget how powerful this phase is. It may seem quiet, but establishment is very important. A lot of them fail not because they don't have enough calling, but because they don't do enough reinforcement. you're not going past. In this way, you're letting God build depth before expansion. As this part calms down, take this truth in deeply. There is no longer a threshold between you and the door. You've gone through. The foundation is being made stronger. The stability you are building now will be needed for what comes next. Stay in the present. Follow the rules. Don't move around. Heaven still has more to say. Beloved, now is the time to put your consistency and commitment to the test. This isn't because heaven doesn't believe in you. It's because endurance is what turns alignment into legacy. This message from Archangel Michael is calm and steady, reminding you that lasting things are not made in emotional moments, but in seasons of faithfulness. It might feel like things have settled into a rhythm for you. Things don't seem as important or noisy anymore, and life feels more organized again. This is the intention of everyone. Heaven is giving you the chance to practice obedience without any stress. Anyone can speak up when they're feeling angry or upset. When things seem fine, not many people can stay faithful. This is where real maturity is shown. During this phase, Jesus calling your name sounds like a quiet affirmation. That voice tells you to keep going, not because something is wrong, but because something is working. Do not mistake stability for inactivity. The strongest growth sometimes happens below the ground, where roots get deeper and foundations get stronger. Without constant confirmation, you are learning to walk. This doesn't mean that God is far away. Building trust is what it means. Movement without fear is made possible by trust. You can make decisions without worrying about getting in trouble. Archangel Michael confirms that this level of trust makes spiritual authority stronger than any dramatic meeting could. There may be times when you wonder if the intensity you felt before will come back. Do not try to get more intense. Strive for obedience. Emotional highs come and go, but alignment stays the same. It doesn't matter how you feel about what God is building in you right now. It serves as an anchor for who you have become. Also, this is the time of year when discipline is important. How you talk, how you rest, and how you react when things don't go your way are all small choices that you make over and over again that have a big impact on your future. In heaven, these details are taken into account. They are teaching you how to take on more responsibility. At this point, Archangel Michael says, a lot of people leave not because they sin, but because they get bored. Knowing something well can make you not appreciate it as much. Don't let routine keep you from seeing goals. It's funny how things you thought would never happen now feel like they did. Your heart will stay in tune if you are grateful. Jesus calling your name also helps you remember that you're not supposed to go this journey by yourself. Connection is important. Community is important. Keeping up with messages that make you feel better is important. If this word has been keeping you down, let that alignment show as a promise of consistency. I like this message. Tell someone who may be getting tired on their walk about it. If you want to strengthen your resolve, write down what this season has taught you. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and connected here so you can keep getting what heaven is sending through this space. Wait, what's about to happen will help you understand everything better in a way you might not have thought possible. You are also learning a deeper kind of patience. Not just waiting, but trusting as well. You're making progress without rushing things. This patience keeps you from getting tired and upset. Patience is not waiting, says Archangel Michael. On-time alignment. This season may bring tests of humility, chances to show what you're made of, and times when you have to wait to be recognized. Hold off on the urge to strive. You don't have to promote yourself to get what God has for you. Favor naturally discovers alignment. Doors will open on their own when the time is right. Here Jesus is also talking about endurance. With endurance, you can keep going even when things are taking a long time to happen. Making the right choice even when no one is cheering for you takes strength. You are currently developing this endurance which will help you through times of expansion. You might notice that those urges don't feel the same now. They are softer, less loud, more comfortable, a compromise, and easy to use. These are the new tests. To stay aligned, you need to be aware, not afraid. There is discernment in you. Trust what doesn't seem right, even if it seems harmless. Archangel Michael tells you that consistency makes heaven happy. Being faithful isn't flashy, but it's strong. It helps heaven and earth trust each other. As soon as trust is built, assignment grows. Let this truth anchor you as this section concludes. You don't have to do anything else to be called to carry what has already been given to you. You must stay aligned. Things are going exactly as they should on the trip. Hold on. Be faithful. The reward for endurance will be shown in what comes next. Beloved child, what is happening now is the meaning coming out. At this point, heaven starts to demonstrate to you the importance of endurance, the necessity of consistency, and the necessity of alignment. This is a time of revelation, not warning or testing. So, Archangel Michael speaks with calm authority. It feels more like wisdom now than it did before when it felt like discipline. Things in your life are becoming more clear to you. There is sense in patterns. Delays show what the goal is. Even the seasons you used to doubt now seem necessary. This doesn't mean the pain wasn't important. It means it wasn't a waste of time. Jesus calling your name along the way was leading you to understanding, not confusion. You no longer feel like you have to rush to prove anything. And your mood has calmed down. This isn't being lazy. It's trust that builds confidence. Even if other people can't see it yet, you know who you are becoming. Archangel Michael agrees that this quiet confidence is one of the best signs of spiritual maturity. You might notice that the way you react has changed a lot. You used to feel like you had to defend, explain, or justify yourself. But now you're okay with keeping quiet. No longer does silence bother me. That's nice. You are no longer looking for approval from places that can't give it to you. Your identity is becoming more stable. Jesus calling your name at this point sounds like a friend, not a command or a correction. It's the voice that walks with you, not the voice that tells you to hurry up or the voice that tells you to feel bad about what you did. This friendship is what makes it possible for you to move forward without worrying about failing. An increased sensitivity to truth, both spiritual and personal, is also present. You're being more honest with yourself. No longer do you hide behind excuses or put the blame on other people. It doesn't bother you that you take responsibility. Being honest sets you free. When people accept the truth, they let go of their bonds. This stage is about the refinement of motive. According to Archangel Michael, it's more important than ever to know why you do what you do. When you act out of fear or to please others, it will feel heavy. It will feel light to do things out of obedience and love. Your spirit now knows the difference. Even when they take work, thoughts of deep gratitude may come to you out of the blue. You may feel grateful for growth, protection you didn't realize you had, or doors that never opened. There's no need for this gratitude. It comes naturally from understanding, and understanding makes peace stronger. Resting in God's sovereignty is also an invitation here. You are learning that you don't have to be involved in everything. You don't have to fight every battle. There are some outcomes that you can't change. You are not weaker because you gave up. It makes you stronger. Your responses will now be guided by discernment, says Archangel Michael. A readiness for greater trust is also indicated by Jesus calling your name. Trust does not always entail receiving a new assignment right away. Before expansion, it can also mean stability. Heaven cares about the environment. Slowly and with intention, one must construct what lasts. People are trusting you with patience because it keeps things on track. You might have noticed that your wants have changed. What was once important doesn't seem as important now. What seemed necessary at first now seems like too much. Simplicity is starting to look good. This is not giving up on your goals. It is desire alignment. When your wants and your purpose are in line, life is easier. This is the time of year when wisdom starts to speak louder than impulse. According to Archangel Michael, you wait before you act. You think before you answer. You're not weak because of this. It helps you be smart. Discernment keeps you out of fights and energy drains that aren't necessary. There may still be times when things aren't clear. That makes sense. Faith does not take away the fear of the unknown. It teaches you how to handle it without getting scared. You no longer think of uncertainty as a threat. You see it as a request to trust more deeply. In this stage, Jesus calling your name is also a sign that you are seen. Heaven sees every step of obedience, every choice made with integrity, and every moment you chose alignment over ease. Even when your progress is quiet and no one praises your growth, once this part calms down, make sure you understand this well. You are no longer getting ready. You are getting set up. What you have on you now is strong. It's heavy. It goes deep. It can handle a lot. The big reveal is almost here, and it won't make a lot of noise. It will happen with certainty. Stay in the present. Don't move around. The next thing heaven says will seal what you already have inside you. My beloved child, this is the moment of sealing. It's not the end, but the completion of what heaven has been building in you the whole time. There was a warning, and now there is confirmation. What seemed like stress has turned into peace. You can feel the authority of Archangel Michael as he stands here and says, what was assigned to you has now been anchored in your spirit. You are no longer on the edge. Not sure if you should move forward, you stepped up. Even though the outside world looks the same inside you, something has changed that can't be changed back. Things are now aligned. Delay has been replaced by decision. And heaven can clearly see this. The sound of Jesus calling your name sounds different now than it did before. It doesn't mean anything urgent or correct anymore. It means affirmation. It is the voice that says you heard. Not many people know how powerful that is. A lot of people hear God, but not many fully respond. You did not shrug off the shaking. There was no silence on conviction. You stayed. That's right. You made changes. This is why the protection stays on. Archangel Michael says that angels don't leave people whose hearts are in the right place. They move around. Their job changes. What looked like guarding is now seen as guiding. Things that looked like warnings before are now seen as reinforcements. Covering is not disappearing. You're moving on to a new part of it. This is also the end of something. Fears from the past are no longer true. Old regrets don't make you who you are now. The arguments inside your head that used to drain you are becoming quieter. That doesn't mean there won't be any problems. It means that challenges will no longer make you lose track of who you are. There was never any fear today. Clarity was the issue. It showed the difference between drifting and making up your mind. And you made up your mind. Heaven respects decisions that are made with honesty. When the heart is in the right place, even imperfect obedience has weight. You might not see fireworks right away. That is the intention behind everything. God isn't making you into something brief. He is making something that will last. The next events will happen slowly, safely, and on purpose. This is not a rushed process for you. Stability is being built into you. Archangel Michael says that this is the time of year when silence will once again test trust. But this time it won't feel scary. The fact that you know where you stand, who called you, and why you said yes will make you feel calm. Jesus calling your name right now doesn't mean you need to work harder. You have to trust even more. Trust that your obedience was enough. Trust that heaven saw your answer, and trust that what you couldn't see was already planned. You're about to enter a time when your life will be a quiet testimony. Not just through words, but also through peace, discernment, and choices that reflect alignment. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. Now, your subscription should be a sign that you are following God's prophetic alignment, staying grounded, alert, and connected to what is happening next in heaven. People around you will feel different when they see you, even if they don't know what changed. Share this message with at least one person in your network before you close it. Release this breakthrough beyond yourself and allow the anointing to go to homes, hearts, and destinies that need it. This is the reward of endurance, not praise or quick results, but inner authority, stability, and confidence that is rooted in truth. Get this final confirmation before this message ends. If you get this message, type "I am sealed in purpose" in the comments. The blessing code 624 is now being used on your life. You are about to enter your divine future. Remember that this message does not end with you. People can use your breakthrough to get where they need to go. Through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-fi community, you can help this mission. By doing so, you are sowing into the awakening, deliverance, and restoration of souls who are still trapped in darkness. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you," every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and safety for your family. Now is your time, my child. Have faith. And as you do, watch God multiply what you let go of. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's take a moment to reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is not a stroke of luck. It is a direct message from Archangel Michael to you. He's extending his hand and inviting you into a protected high vibrational community where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise. This sacred principle is very simple, but it can change your whole life. If you follow it, you won't just receive blessings. They will be multiplied and flow into every part of your life. By accepting this invitation right now, you are unlocking immediate early access to powerful content and divine insights that are hidden from the general world. Now is your chance to enter a sacred space where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. If you desire to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And for those who feel called to amplify this work, a link to purchase the guided ebook is available, which is completely optional. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.